Welcome back and welcome to the Current Reads. Every other Wednesday, we pick a different library to check in on to see what people all over our viewing area are reading. And so far, we have been to 8 different places on both sides of the river. This week, we are heading out west to Mount Pleasant, Iowa. Joining us now is the library's director, Kaylee Scepter. Kaylee, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, all 3 books you picked today center around this horror fantasy genre. So why don't we start with The Spirit Bares Its Teeth. What is this book about?
The Spirit Bares Its Teeth by Andrew Joseph White is a historical horror book that takes place in London in 1883, and it deals with spirits and the veil between the living of the dead, which is thinned, and there are mediums that have violet eyes who commune with spirits under the watchful eye of the Royal Speaker Society. And 16-year-old Silas Bell would rather rip out his violet eyes than become an obedient speaker wife. According to Mother, he'll need to be married by the end of the year. It doesn't matter that he needed a decade of tutors to hide his autism, that he practices surgery on slaughtered pigs, and that he is a boy, not the girl the world insists on seeing. And after a failed attempt of trying to escape an arranged marriage, Silas is sent and diagnosed first with veil sickness, a mysterious disease sending violet-eyed women into madness, and shipped away to Braxton's sanatorium and finishing school. The facilities are cold, the instructors are merciless, and the students either bloom into eligible wives or disappear. So when the ghosts of the former students reach out and missing students reach out begging Silas for help, he decides to reach in really and dig into Braxton's innards and expose it to the world, as long as the school doesn't break him first.
I think the really cool piece about that book is the main character is overtly autistic, and it's a big part of their story arc, which is something I don't see very much in novels. But your next pick is called Cemetery Boys. Tell me about this one. It all kind of revolves around a young man from a Latin family.
Yes. Yadriel is a young man from a Latinx family, and he's a brujo, which is a male witch as opposed to a bruja. And he's summoned a ghost, but he can't get rid of him. So when his traditional family has trouble and problems accepting his gender, Yadriel becomes more determined to prove himself as a real brujo. And with the help of his cousin and best friend, Maritza, he performs the ritual himself and then sets out to find the ghost of his murdered cousin and set it free. However, the ghost he actually summons is actually a boy, Julian Diaz, the school's resident bad boy, and he's not about to go quietly into death. He's determined to find out what happened and tie up some loose ends before he leaves. And left with no choice, Yadriel decides to help Julian so that they can both get what they want. But the longer that Yadriel spends with Julian, the less he wants him to leave.
And finally for us, you chose The Honeys. What is this book about?
The Honeys is more along the horror of The Spirit Bares Its Teeth. Cemetery Boys is a little lighter with the fantasy. But Mars follows the character of Mars, whose twin sister, Caroline, has been murdered. It's a mysterious death. And he's always felt like he's the lesser twin as opposed to Caroline. And he's a gender fluid young man, and so often he goes with whatever he's feeling, but that means that he's often excluded from the traditions and expectations of his politically connected family. And this includes attendance at the prestigious Aspen Conservancy Summer Academy, where his sister poured so much of her time. And then he insists on attending in her place. And so what he finds there is a bucolic fairy tale not meant for him, with folksy charm, sun-drenched festivities, camouflage old-fashioned gender roles, and a toxic preparatory rigor. So he goes and he seeks out his sister's old friends, a group of girls dubbed the Honeys, named for the beehives they maintain behind their cabin. And Mars believes they're connected to Caroline's death, but there is a whole other back system and ecosystem in the school that Mars does not know about until the novel unravels.
I love it. And then beyond the books, Kaylee, the Mount Pleasant Library has a really incredible Children's Discovery Center. Tell me about this space.
Yes, this space was given to us by the city of Mount Pleasant after the AEA offices left, and so it's some rooms and a big area, a couple big areas, and it's filled with children's toys and just little things that kids can go around and play with, and it's got all sorts of things: a doctor's station, kitchen, and just all sorts of blocks and Legos and giant Lincoln logs, and it's just a fun space for kids.
Especially as the weather gets colder, I mean, to be able to go inside and hang out with your kids and play in there. And then we also want to mention people in Mount Pleasant with an eligible zip code can apply for the Dolly Parton Imagination Library.
Yes, the children in Mount Pleasant who live in the 52641 zip code can sign up to, ages 0 to 5, can sign up to be sent a free book. This program has been funded by our library foundation, and every month a book gets sent to their house. And I've heard a lot of people say we enjoy getting our Dolly books, and they enjoy going to the mailbox and seeing that. And once a child, about a month before the child turns 5, they get a graduation book congratulating them on their graduation to kindergarten.
I love it. Kaylee, thank you so much for joining us here today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
For you guys at home, we have all the books we spoke about today, plus the programs up on our website. You can check those out or any of our current read segments underneath the As Seen on TV tab.